Alright guys, today we are going to be reacting to Andrew versus Feminist, who justify shady dating tactics from women. Jump in.
She said she wanted to take it slow with him. She could really like him and just want to take things slow. And with the other guy, it didn't mean anything. So, and we were not exclusive. We didn't have that conversation saying, okay, we're exclusive. We're not going to date anyone. We didn't have that. It's very gray area. So I kind of agree with her side because nothing is solidified here. Everything is like kind of up in the air.
Not, I mean, but it's not though.
Well,
right? It's not. This is like, and I see this all the time on these panels, right? It literally just seems like it's excusing bad behavior. Clearly, from this guy's angle, he was moving towards this, and she was moving towards this, and they both seem to agree. Otherwise, she wouldn't get upset. That's one. And seemingly, the only way that you guys are able to quote validate this woman who's in the picture here is to essentially say, well, I disbelieve his story and there's another side. But it's like, just take the story at face value. Let's assume for a second it's true, that everything he's saying is true. Well, then how do you validate that?
Well, they never agreed to be exclusive.
Yeah, but so even granting, let's say it's not even considered.
Yeah, but he didn't agree that he would stay in a relationship with a girl who was like, for instance, let me just give you this scenario, right? If she had told him at the time, oh, and by the way, I just humped my Tinder date, don't you think that would have remarkably changed the situation of their dynamic? If she had actually been upfront with that. Oh, by the way, guy that I'm dating, I also happen to be banging a guy I met on Tinder. Don't you think that would completely change the dynamic?
I think so, but I feel like you can't really hold someone up to that standard if.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
I feel like you can't if you're not dating. If you don't have to. Like, I could go on a date or be dating someone, talking to them, right? And where I can see things going, but I don't have to tell you that I just slept with somebody yesterday or last week. I mean, we never established that.
How's that not? That's totally despicable because it puts the person under false pretense. It's like, that's completely despicable behavior to be like, oh, and I'm also banging this guy. I'm just not going to tell you. Like, it's totally despicable to do. Like, who would ever want that done to him? Would you ever want to date a guy who you were really into? And then he was like, oh, yeah, and by the way, you found out, 4 weeks in that he was banging some other chick? Like, who would ever want that?
I don't know if it's just me, but when I date, I just assume that the other person is also dating and possibly sleeping with other people.
Correct.
I might not be, but I just assume until we have a conversation. And I think what she did is not right by not telling him. But in my opinion, I think that also what she did wasn't wrong. She didn't have to tell him because they didn't discuss it.
Yo, accountability just left the chat. Accountability just left the chat. There's no accountabilities on these 3 or 4s, man. No accountability. No sense of accountability. How can you live in a world without accountability? What if 55% of the world start running without accountability? Oh, guess what? We already done it. Insane, man. We already doing it. Look at this. All these shows is just the same topic, same theme. Accountability, all in different versions. The same topic with a different version. That means that the ideology is so strong, folks. The ideology is so strong. It's going to be very hard, folks. It's going to be very hard to disseminate. It's going to be very hard.
Okay, well, here's the thing, though. Like with men.
Guys do this all the time.
Oh, go ahead, Andrew. You're good.
Yeah, well, I don't think that men generally are assuming that if they're going on multiple dates with a woman, she's dating anybody else. I think that that's usually generally a fair assumption to make. I don't see why it wouldn't be. And if you think it would change the way that the person would look at you, right? If you told them you were sleeping with somebody else, then at that point I think you actually have an obligation to do so because then it's false pretenses. So if you think, if I told this person I'm sleeping with somebody else, and if they had that information, they would no longer want to date me or be with me, so I'm going to purposely withhold that information. Yes, that's totally despicable. That's completely despicable because it's just self-serving, right?
Yep.
Your reaction, and then we'll have some back and forth here.
My reaction is that I think it should have been clearly established in the beginning. And I think that's where,
What should have?
that if they're sleeping with people or not, if they both were looking to be in a relationship or just establish if they wanted to be in a relationship, I feel like that's just like a valid, known thing that people should know in a relationship.
I gotta ask this.
Whether you're sleeping with somebody or not in a relationship.
Let me ask you a question, okay? If you had genital warts and the other person didn't know, but they didn't ask you and you were gonna sleep with them, are you obligated to disclose that to them?
No, this is where I think the modern society is a little soft. I think that this stuff should just be easily communicated. Like, whether you're sleeping with somebody or not, like personally, I don't want no one else sleeping with somebody else if I'm in a relationship.
I feel like that doesn't answer
so I'm
my
going to
question.
make that clear that I'm not sleeping with somebody.
To my question.
Yeah.
If you had genital warts, okay, and you and the person you were on a date with never discussed STDs, and he wanted to sleep with you, right? Are you obligated to tell him that?
Yeah.
And isn't the reason you're obligated to tell him that so that he can make an informed decision about whether or not he wants to take that risk? Yeah. So the inference here then is that this person would make a different decision had they had the pertinent information that you are withholding. And so if you consider that to be a moral conundrum, I don't see how you wouldn't consider this a moral conundrum. They both seem like a moral conundrum to me, same way. Withholding information purposely to be self-serving. In the one case you say that's wrong, in the other case you say it's fine. That seems absurd to me.
Well, did he say that if she had told him that he would have left? Does it say that like in the post?
She was concerned.
Yeah, the idea that
she didn't
he's
tell because
alluding to here is that had he had the requisite knowledge, he would have ceased and desisted the dating with her. That's the entire inference of the post. What makes it wrong is that he didn't know, in other words, right?
I think he should have just asked straight up. I think it's just like a common thing people should kind of know about each other if you're dating somebody, whether you're sleeping with somebody or not. Like, I feel like it's just like a common thing that people should know about each other, even in the beginning or not. Rather, like, if you see a long-term relationship with someone, like, I'm not going to be sleeping with somebody else. And I feel like that should be established if you both are looking for long-term things, you know?
Yeah, I think it should be established in the beginning that I would agree to this. I think it should be established in the beginning whether or not you want to have an open relationship and continue to date. You say, okay, I'm going to continue to date other people. You date other people. That's fine. But if it's not discussed, right, but you're acting in such a way as though it seems that this is moving towards something, then I think that as human beings, we can generally figure out what an inference.
Yo, what's up with her, man? What's up with her? You're looking at this like, why? What's going on with her?
Is what's being implied here, what's being inferred here, in the same way that you would say, I'm not going to hide an STD because I feel like, well, that could definitely do some damage to your life by not disclosing that to you and be self-serving. This also does the same thing. It's very damaging to a person's life by not disclosing it. So from my perspective, it seems that the woman should be not only completely invalidated here, but it was very sneaky, underhanded behavior.
Yeah, if it was the other way around, I would completely not agree with it. So I think if guys were doing what this girl was doing to us, I think we would honestly act more out on it than what that guy was doing, was just posting on Reddit or whatever the heck that was. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay. You had something? Go ahead.
Yeah. First, just to be clear, so he was dating this woman for a year? I just want to be they was dating for a year, and I'm gonna just.
Then he found out.
Then he soft and should have said something.
All right, but so, in my opinion, the guy just seems a little green to me. That's just what I'm thinking. Because if I'm talking to a woman in the first beginning, I'm assuming she's doing what she want to do. Until we make it official, you're not mine until you mine. So I'm not assuming anything. If I meet a woman in the modern time, especially if she's attractive and it's early and we haven't established nothing, she might still be lingering with somebody else. There still might be some cobwebs we're trying to clean out. So I'm not even assuming that. And if I'm dealing with a woman for a year's time and we haven't done anything, and you're accepting that and you think that's normal, you don't know women enough. I think we have what we want women to be and what they are. And I think a lot of men.
Yeah, but what you're doing is promoting terrible
I'm not promoting
behavior,
anything. You gotta let me finish though. I'm not promoting anything because I don't believe it.
Oh, we'll go back and forward there. Okay. He's making good points. It's true. Like, He's more at the Myron. He's more in the Myron school, right? Even though I don't know if you know Myron, but his Myron school is basically you have to get some experience with women, and that way you know how to deal with them. Which I agree. I agree. You need to have some kind of experience, at least some basic understanding of female nature, and make sure you can control some of your simp instincts, right? Because simping for me is more like an instinct. You try. It's like it's a behavior that it just come through your balls all the way to your neck. So I agree with him. It seemed like the guy was a simp, was agreeing, he was not seeing the things correctly. So I have to agree with him.
I deal with reality. I don't agree with a lot of stuff in reality. I don't think certain things should be a crime, but that don't mean I'm going to do it just to prove a point. It is what it is. So if I'm dealing with a woman for a year's time and she's making me wait for her body, I don't care what she says, I don't think she likes me. So based on that post,
I think they did, just to clarify, it's not clear from the post. I'm assuming they did have sex. I don't think he discloses it.
That's what I'm saying. He said they was, but you said she was waiting. She said they was taking it slow physically. That's what Justin
I don't
said,
think
right?
he discloses, but yeah, so maybe they waited a month, 2 months, 3 months, something like that. I think they did have sex, just as a point of clarification.
Okay.
But he waited, and then she fucked a dude on Tinder probably immediately.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Crazy. That's crazy, man. Wow. Bro, that's so wrong, man, in so many ways, bro. It's wrong in every angle you see it. Wrong because the guy wanted to take her seriously. Wrong because she just gave it to Shadow Taro right away, right? And you know what I'm saying? So wrong in many ways. So wrong in many ways, man. I mean, you have to decide in this world whether or not you want to play the game. I got tired playing that game. Got tired, didn't like it. Started working more on myself, right? It's not worth it, guys. It's not worth it. Playing the game is not worth it. It just get you tired. It's a great skill, right? To deal. It's a great dynamic. You start to understand dynamic. At the same time, I don't know, folks. You guys have to decide, right? What to do.
I'm not clear if they had. It's not clear if he had sex with her or not. Based on the post, it seemed like he was waiting to have sex.
He waited 3 months. The other dude hit it first night.
And hey, then he needs to leave her alone. But the fact that he made that post shows that he needs someone to convince him to leave her alone. He still wants to deal with her. And if he still wants to deal with her, then he's a clown. Because if you gotta go online and ask people, hey, should I leave her alone or not? That means you still like her and you're waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to stay with her. And men like that don't know women enough, and they just game goofy, period.
Yeah, that's true. Guys like that, man, you're literally just going online to just get advice about a female that just is supposed to be with you, but she just give it right away. Like, man, come on.
Well,
we do.
Hang on. Like, it's saying that because you're with a girl for a straight year, right, the relationship is going really well, and suddenly you learn very pertinent information to this relationship that you now have to deal with. And so you look outside external for guidance because you don't know exactly how to deal with a situation you've never been in. I don't think that's a knock on the guy either. I think it's him just going, hey, wait a second. This is something I haven't experienced before. Most men probably haven't been in the situation where they have a long-term relationship where they find that pertinent information out a year or two in. I don't think I'd beat him up about it. I think, though, that she should probably, if he wanted to avoid this situation, I would think that the moral ought here would be the disclosure, just like it would be with the STD, and then the situation's avoided.
But he knows now, and he's still looking for convincing. So what I'm saying is, most men who have experience with women, when it doesn't go their way, most masculine dominant men, they're not gonna wait around and figure out if she's with me or not. Once she shows you she's not on your team, you move on and you keep it pushing. You don't go online and post to random people and say, hey, do you think I should take her back? And I'm not knocking him, he's not a bad guy. He's just very green when it comes to women.
What advice would you have given him? Would you give him
Leave.
Literally leave.
That's the advice. She's not the one for you. She's not the girl. She's not the girl for you. You was a good dude, and you're too good for her. Keep it pushing.
There's plenty of fish in the sea.
Hang on. I agree with you, right? The advice is leave. Perfect. So a guy like that doesn't have the requisite experience, looking for guidance from a male, comes to you, asks you, you say leave. Why would you knock him for that?
I'm not knocking him. It's semantics at this point.
Yeah. No. Andrew has a point. Andrew has a point because then you're knocking him because he's green. But at the same time, the green is looking for advice. but then you're giving her advice what to do. So you have to be careful here, right? Because you're saying that he's green, which I agree. And I think we reacted to a guy that called to the Marin show, and he wanted to know about this Ukraine girl. She was acting crazy when he gave her a gift, and he said that he was not a simp, or he sounded kind of simpy. But it was, at least he was. We're not knocking him for him to give a call and just expose himself out there. I think that's fair. Now the guy here saying he's green, but then he's saying like, oh, you shouldn't expose yourself stuff out there like that. Listen, some guys don't have the resources to just go around to just get those advice. Imagine you're living in Wisconsin in the middle of nowhere, guys. Who do you go to get advice? Your father happens to be a simp too. What do you do there? So this is interesting, back and forward. You guys agree with me or not? Let me know in the comment section.
What I'm saying is that's not the right approach for this situation, my brother. Don't take your grievances to strangers. Suck it up and do something with your time. Take that energy that's frustrating with her and go do some push-ups. Go vent to your boys. Go get a drink. Go play Madden, something. Don't take it to the internet.
Hey, I have to agree with him. But this is more like this is more an inner game. This is more the inner game. You can take that energy from that turmoil and you put the energy to something like that. Like one thing is drinking a lot of water. When you go through something like that, drink a lot of water and start doing push-ups. Try to create a routine. Why? Because the routine that you were having with her, you have to break it. You have to break that routine. You have to break it. Start reading. Start doing a lot of stuff, and that way you start feeling much better about yourself. But you need to take like actions like that. Drinking a lot of water, doing push-ups, running, reading, and that way you can take your mind out of it and start creating new routines. That is a good point.
And think that, because he still wants her. He's looking for validation to stay. He's not looking for a solution. He's looking for a reason why he should ignore her folly, which lets me know he's not experienced with women. He's very green.
Maybe he's also having resentment that she met that guy on the internet, and so now he's going to the internet.
Well, I think there's a bit more context in the post. We're gonna pull it back up. Maybe there's some explanation as to why he went to the internet. I think if I saw his girlfriend was trying to like cope and gaslight him a little bit. So let's pull it back up. I'll have you read the rest of it. Scroll down, please. Hide the overlay.
Yo, this
Scroll down.
Bro, this Reddit post looked from 2012.
I'm gonna have you read where it starts. Relevant comments. Scroll down. Okay.
All right. In my opinion, if you're dating someone and moving towards a serious relationship, you don't freaking bang other people.
Yeah.
This would be a deal breaker for me. But you do you, man. If you can't get past it, then end it.
A little clarification here. That's from like a commenter from the original Reddit thread. OOP, I believe that's just original poster. So this is a response. This is the actual guy who with the girlfriend issue. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. It would have been one thing if she was just talking to other guys in the early stages while we were defining things. Of course, that's fine and normal, but it feels like a slap in the fact that that she found another guy to sleep with after we had already gone on quite a few dates, and I made it clear I thought we were moving towards a serious relationship, which she seemed to also acknowledge. There is no way she didn't know I would feel hurt that she did that.
Scroll down a bit. Here,
Yeah, it's kind of green. Yeah, he's right. It sounds like he was too emotionally invested very early on. Right? This is not good. She played bad, guys. Women are women. There's nothing else we can do. Women are women. However, I think he was a little green here, guys. Very green.
Scroll down. Okay, read that one.
Yeah, her logic made no sense to me. She tried to explain that with guys she wants to be in a relationship, she wants it to feel special and wants it to build an emotional connection. But for guys she sees no future with, she sometimes can just wanted physical fun that meant nothing.
He's a guy now.
But I just can't wrap my mind around that. It feels like a gut punch that as we were getting closer and building a connection, she didn't want to be intimate with me, but instead preferred to find someone else. No matter how she rationalizes it, it's hard not to feel like a second choice.
And then there was an update 23 days later. Read the update, please.
As the title says, I decided to break up with Jess. I kept going back and forth because I was worried I was throwing away a great thing over something that happened in the past. But the problem is, I thought I really wouldn't be able to get past it.
Yeah, that's a red flag there. You're getting way too much. She did something to get you way too emotionally invested.
I can't help what she did was really shitty. Yes, I know that technically she did not cheat, but she knew that I wanted a real relationship and that we were potentially moving in that direction. But meanwhile, she expected me to plan and pay for interesting dates, court her, and prove that I was worthy of her while she happily hooked up with randos who basically did nothing but show an interest in f***ing that. And
Yeah, how do we call that? The alpha F and the beta bucks. The beta bucks. There you go, guys. Alpha F and beta bucks. Right here. She was using the guy for the beta resources while effing the other guys. I mean, what was the guy? I used to, one of the old school pickup artists, he used to say, it's better for a female to hate you than like you, kind of a thing. It's better to a female because at least with hating, you create emotions, right? You're more likely to effort. This is what happened when you're too nice with guys, with girls. And it's hard for guys to understand because we, like I said, our instinct is to simp, right? That's our instinct. But we have to work very hard for not to do that. Because then you will end up like this, emotionally invested in nothing. If she said, when she say, I just slept with another guy, I say, well, that's fine. You keep it normal, even if you're dying inside. Keep it normal like it's not a big deal. And keep moving forward. Like, it's not, if you need to cry it out in the restroom, alone, in the shower, with a towel, or whatever, do it. But do not ever show emotions like that to a female. She will destroy you, bro. Just like literally holding your balls with the 10 pounds on it, kind of thing. It's crazy. Don't be like this, guy. Don't be like that.
in a follow-up conversation, it also came up that her friends sort of guided her to act like this, that she should basically allow herself to have fun and to keep her casual options open, but with me to make me work for it and show that I wasn't just looking for sex, but was capable of being a committed partner. The whole thing just seems so manipulative and ugly, and these were also mutual friends who I considered to be nice girls, and now my friends as well. Now I never want to see any of those pieces of shit ever again. Anyway, I know this is starting to sound a bit like a rant, LOL, but I felt pretty pissed off and basically called it quits. The actual breakup was actually quite unpleasant. No harsh words were exchanged, but Jess cried and we just kind of talked about some happy times. I guess that's the hardest part about this. Like, I don't think she is a bad girl, and maybe we could have had a nice future together like we did over the past few months. But in the end, I do think I made the right decision. I want to be with someone who treats me well from the get-go, not someone who manipulates me while playing games just so she can have her cake and eat it too.
You had something really quick, but
yeah. Like from when I'm seeing, the guy just is not, he doesn't understand women like that. She didn't like him that much. She was still feeling him out.
Yeah.
And she was willing to go on dates, and he was willing to acquiesce to that because he doesn't know women, and he was way more into her than she was into him. When
it has to be the other way around.
Woman wants to have sex with you, and when she likes you, she knows right away. At that point, all you can do is could turn her off. But she wasn't really attracted to that guy. She's seeing that he can be the guy that can be nice, but the guys that she was really attracted to was the guys that she was sleeping with. So he's not a victim. He's not. We're not going to knock the guy, but he just wasn't paying attention to the red flags. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but where does he learn to do that?
You have to get out. You got to get your feelings hurt. I mean, you only know how to fight until you get punched in the face.
That's why I don't understand the argument, right? It's like, I get what you're saying, that the guy's a simp and he doesn't have a lot of experience with women, blah, 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 blah. Nobody's disputing that. And I'd give him the same advice you would: leave. But how exactly if you're conflicted and you don't have this requisite experience, which is what you're talking about, how do you get it other than to have stuff like this happen? Go to friends, mentors, people like this, and discuss it with them. And another thing, like on these, just real quick, on these Reddit threads, things like this, many of the times I think that this is done by people so that other people can see what's going on and they can have a reference point if something similar is happening to them, right? So it makes sense.
Well, the way I learned, because I didn't have nobody say, hey, don't do this, don't do this. I just paid attention to my environment, and I look at what women did in real time, and I knew what not to do, and I wasn't going to play myself.
You never had any conflict with women that you went to your friends with?
Of course, but I'm not taking a woman on multiple dates, spending hella bread, and she's telling me we're taking it slow, and like, I never went through that. That's just me personally.
But I thought you wanted a traditional woman, and doesn't a traditional
I didn't say
woman
we had.
Chet test right there. Ooh, Ooh, she didn't wait that long, huh? Just is right there. Let's see how we handle it.
To have sex, but I'm saying I'm not about to be spending money multiple times and you're still trying to figure it out. Like sometimes a date doesn't have to be money spent, because once you start spending money, men's emotions get attached to their money. So what I'm gonna do is say, hey, so I won't get mad at you.
Man, that's a great advice. When you spend money, your emotions they get attached. That's why a lot of guys from the OF, right? They get emotionally attached, man. That's so true. Wow.
Let's go take a walk. Let's go to a museum, something that's not costing me anything, so I don't feel so upset when things go left. Men try to start investing in, oh, I'm gonna take her here and take her there. She hasn't done nothing for you but show up. So that's on him. So I do want a traditional woman, but I understand we don't live in traditional times, so I'm not gonna put myself in a traditional situation that's gonna get me played. I'm gonna play regular, do something that's cost efficient, because if she really likes me, she's gonna be there. If you really like a dude, he don't gotta take you to Ruth Chris. Now the guy that you're not really sure about, he might have to spend some money. But the guy that you know you really like, he just gotta show up. So I will put her in situations where she has to show me that she likes me naturally, not because I'm paying for this or paying.
And the reason he's saying that because he's not dealing with traditional women. So the reason you will invest yourself is because she's traditional, right? You have to invest and show not only to her but to her family that you can take care of her. But that's traditional. You're not dealing with traditional girls, so you have to flip everything. She now has to invest on you. She has to invest on you. And then when things get serious, then you start paying. When things get serious, now you stay and pay. You pay. Why you pay? To keep frame, guys. To keep frame. But at the beginning, she had to be the one pulling the money. She has to be the one, folks. She has to. Because now she has to invest. Now she's investing on you. And then when things happen, now you start, start with the coffee. You pay the coffee. Right? The little sandwich, the $5 sandwich. You start doing that stuff. That's how you earn them. But it's all the opposite, guys. The opposite.
And for that, not saying we can't get something to eat, but you're paying for 1, 2, 3, 4, multiple dates. Like, you gotta just be smart and realize that, hold up, this is not supposed to go like that. She's still trying to figure me out. I just think you just gotta be smarter than that and look around and see that most women, they know when they like a guy. Y'all know right away if y'all like a guy from the first conversation, if you could see yourself being with him. By the second, third conversation, you could see if you could see yourself being physical with him. It doesn't take a long time. So I just think he just needs more experience. He's probably a younger cat, but he just needs some more experience. He just got his cherry pop, he'll be all right.
It's true. But again, Andrew has a point. There's nothing wrong. It's Reddit. Nobody knows. And some of these guys, they need some reference. They need to do. They cannot get any reference. If you have a lot of simps around you, they give you the wrong advice. They'll probably tell you, no, you have to stay. All this stuff. It's not a good advice. But a lot of guys are saying, you know what, you have to leave. I think that's a great. I'm not knocking everybody that's looking for advice and exposing and exposing themselves out there like that. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm not knocking nobody like this. Very good exchange. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you in the next one.